What's going on, football fans? It's me, J.R. Clark, back again with another Falcon Eye View. This time we're going to take a look at defensive coordinator Dean Pease. Now, Dean Pease has been in the league and around the league for quite a long time. He's 70-something years old. He's been coaching longer than I've been alive, obviously. He's been anywhere in the ranks from high school to college to the pros. I mean, he's coached anywhere and everywhere. So, if we were lacking for experience on coaching last year, we definitely got it on the defense this year. Now, whether that turns out to be a good thing or not, obviously remains to be seen. Quick history on Dean Pease. He spent time as the New England linebacker coach and defensive coordinator under Belichick. He also spent time as the Baltimore Ravens linebacker coach and then defensive coordinator. And lastly, he's been the defensive coordinator at the Tennessee Titans. Now, Pease gets a rap of being an aggressive coach, an aggressive defensive-minded coach. Also, a guy who expects a lot out of his players, expects them to play smart, and just routinely is a guy who is constantly looking to bring pressure from different angles. Mostly when I think about the Baltimore Ravens, weirdly enough, I think about Rex Ryan as the DC and all his exotic blitzes and stuff like that. But mentally, I'm actually picturing Dean Pease coached defense. It was interesting to find that out because until he came on the radar with the hire of Arthur Smith, I didn't really know who Dean Pease was. I'm sorry to say that I don't keep track of every defensive coordinator or coordinators in general across the league. So these past few days, I've been trying to do as much research on him as I can, trying to figure out what type of system he's going to run. Because immediately I was like, well, we're switching to a 3-4. I think I even tweeted that out. Oh, well, we're going to be switching to a 3-4. And in a sense, yeah, we will be switching to a base 3-4. But Dean Pease, like Dan Quinn and like a lot of other defensive coordinators, runs nickel like 70-something% of the time. So realistically, what you're going to end up having is 2 defensive linemen and 2 edge rushers on the line. I mean, that's the vast majority of the formation that he runs. He's going to run a 4-2-5 look, which isn't necessarily like, it's not a bad thing. You know, it's a 4-2-5, which is a nickel look, 2 linebackers, 4 defensive linemen, 5 backs, whether it be safeties, cornerbacks, what have you. So it's not a big deal. Here, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the formation, I'm going to put this up here so that we can see, okay? This is just a still image, right? But this gives you Dean Pease's, like, the vast majority of his looks that I saw while watching games that he coached. And it's done in a cover 2 system. You see those 2 deep safeties, which we ran quite a bit with, something I thought we were going to run a lot more of with Olbrick and Raheem Morris. I figured they were going to go more Tampa 2 than we actually ended up seeing. But this is dead up a cover 2 shell that he plays a lot of cover 2, plays a lot of quarters, was what I was figuring out. They split the backs split the field into quarters, and they play quite a bit of zone. So it was really interesting to see that formation-wise, personnel-wise, it isn't going to be that different than what we were already running. Terminology is obviously going to be different for the guys, but the growth that we saw from Deion Jones and Foye Oluokun, I think is going to increase under Dean Pease. Because if there's one thing I can say about Pease, it is that he likes to use linebackers quite a bit. So I'm going to throw some, I'm going to say this set of stats, but I'm going to throw out some other ones and show you, okay, what I mean. In 2020, the sack leader on the Atlanta Falcons was Deion Jones at 4.5 sacks. Not a lot, but there it is. That's what it was. You had him leading with Grady Jarrett coming up right behind him at 4. Now, Foye Oluokun was right there on his heels at 3. Okay? Now, what I want to show you here, this is the 2012 Ravens. Okay? Dean Pease obviously coached the Ravens. You had 4.5 sacks from inside linebacker Dannell Ellerbe. 4.5 sacks from him. You have 5 sacks from Haloti Ngata at the defensive end position. That's where I think Grady Jarrett's going to be playing. I think Grady Jarrett's going to kick out more to the defensive end position, which you saw him do some quite a bit this year. So I think he'll be fine with that. So I'd expect his production to be somewhere along the lines of Haloti Ngata. Now, Paul Kruger, which was a outside linebacker for the Ravens, had 9 sacks. This is under Dean Pease. Dean Pease got Paul Kruger paid big time by the Browns. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. Dean Pease's system has got a lot of people paid. All right, so that's something else to keep in mind. So that was the 2012 Ravens. Now I want to show you the 2018 Titans. Okay, Dean Pease, 2018 Titans. Both your inside linebackers, Wesley Woodyard and Gian Brown. 6 sacks for Gian Brown, 4.5 for Wesley Woodyard. Now, the interesting one was Logan Ryan. We're going to get into him here in a minute. But Logan Ryan that year had 4 sacks. The big sack production, this again, to me bodes well for Grady Jarrett, is Darrell Casey. Had 7 sacks. The number of the sacks, the reason why I bring this up, because we always get enamored by sacks. You know, sacks is pressure, and it's the easiest way to identify where the pressure is coming from, okay? And I know a lot of smart people don't want you to look at sack numbers, and I'm not saying that I want you to just focus on sack numbers, but it's the easiest way to see who is generating pressure, okay? I know you can look at QB hits. I mean, there's Gian Brown had 10 QB hits. Harold Landry had 14 QB hits. So they're getting pressure. That's the major thing. Sacks is a good indicator of where the pressure is coming from. Okay, so that was the 2018 Titans. 2019, the last year that Dean Pease coached. All right. Logan Ryan, 4.5 sacks again. Harold Landry, the outside linebacker, I believe this was his second year in the league at this time, 9 sacks. Darrell Casey, another 5 sacks. The other outside linebacker, Corora, 5 sacks. So, I mean, this is showing you where this pressure is coming from. And I think that, you know, if they decide to keep Dante Fowler, I think you're going to see him stand up a lot more than you did this past year, which bodes well because a good bit of his sacks, like his best sack production out in L.A., came from standing up quite a bit with Wade Phillips out there. So, now, let's go ahead and I guess get into the reason why y'all are here, right? It's the film breakdown. All right. So, the first play that I want us to look at here is a 6-yard loss. All right. This is from the linebacker. I'm showing you a lot of linebacker play here, but keep in mind, I think that's the strength of our team right now as it stands, and I think Dean Pease can make it stronger, okay? So that's why I want to show you some of these plays here. So let's go ahead and get this going. Now, what I want you to do is watch the linebackers here, okay? So this is against Dallas, right? Snap the ball, and boom. Like he has the linebackers playing downhill right here. I'm going to back it up and show you this one more time. All right. So when the ball is snapped, Everybody comes rushing forward. You got, just a nice open gap. The linebacker reads it real well there, attacks downhill, and it's just a good play. It's just a good, solid heads-up play. All right, now look, I'm going to show you another linebacker blitz. This play is successful for Dallas, but I want to watch the two linebackers is what I want you to watch, okay? Watch the two middle linebackers, all right, on this play. All right, you got number 55 there, I believe is who it is. Watch him. All right, as the play gets snapped. Here we go. Whoop, there it is. He comes rushing in, and hold on. I'm going to scrub it forward so we don't sit through all that again. Watch number 55. He comes rushing in, and then he bails out big time. But watch on the opposite side. This is what I talk about. Dean Pease bringing pressure, right? At all different angles from all different places. One thing he does real, real well when he's calling his plays. So watch number 55 come rushing in, but then immediately take a look to the other side, and you'll see this linebacker come screaming in almost unblocked, okay? Play, boom, bails out. Here comes the other linebacker. Now, he got Prescott got the ball out, so it was a successful play. But that gives you the idea, and that's going to have Prescott thinking about that linebacker coming in. The amount of times that Dean Pease is bringing pressure from different angles and different places is probably the part that I'm the most excited about. It's something that I thought that Jeff Ulbrich did real well with our linebackers, and it's something I'm excited to see a more experienced defensive coordinator, what they can do. Now, I spoke about Logan Ryan earlier, okay? Logan Ryan for the Tennessee Titans was a very important player, very versatile player. You're probably going to hear the words versatile a lot come out of people's mouths when they're talking about how, Dean Pease's coach, who is he looking for? He's looking for versatile players, okay? Logan Ryan, when I was watching these Tennessee games, man, Logan Ryan was all over the place. And that's the kind of guy that we have to find. We have to find a Logan Ryan style player, okay? I don't know if we have that guy on the roster as of yet. I would love to say DeMonte Casey, or I'd love to say Jalen Hawkins, or, even Isaiah Oliver. For as much as we love to chuckle, he did start to come on and play solid. I don't know if I'd call it great. He played solid, especially when they asked him to play in a slot and not have to cover so much. So anyway, let's take a look at this play with Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan is number 26, I believe, on this one. All right, so there goes the play, and bam, there's Logan Ryan playing close to the line of scrimmage. I'm going to play this one more time. Watch it. He's on the right-hand side for me, left for you, I believe. Take a look at him, number 26. He just navigates, and he cuts Ezekiel down before he can really even get going. I saw time and time again Logan Ryan making plays. That's the kind of guy we need to find. All right. Now, earlier I was talking about blitzing from a bunch of different angles and things like that. I want y'all to look at this linebacker defensive end play here. Like I said, linebacker is going to be so important. All right. I'm trying to show y'all. It's that blitz from the linebacker that causes this play. Watch it again. When that linebacker comes blitzing in, Ezekiel has to redirect, and when he redirects right into the defensive end, defensive tackle, depending on, boom, right there, 97. 97 gets to make that play because of the linebacker. One more time. I want y'all to watch this linebacker just come screaming in. And this is how I really can see Foye and Deion Jones playing with their hair on fire like this. You got to see it last year a little bit with Foye. I think that you can see it even more this year under Dean Pease. Now, the last play, I had to say this one for last because it's going to hurt y'all's feelings. But this is Kenny Vaccaro, okay? Now, when I was doing a lot of my reading and my research, they said they needed the DMPs needed super versatile covering safeties and yada yada yada. We all know that Kenny Vaccaro is in a lot of ways a liability in coverage, but DMPs like Arthur Smith has been able to adjust his scheme to the players that he has. So I want y'all to watch this strong safety blitz here. Yep, and of course, it's against us. Can't be partial, right? See, it's the strong safety blitz that allows this to work. Okay, as with all blitzes, most blitzes, whatever you want to call it, delayed blitzes, however you want to look at it, they're sending more than can be covered. Right, that's the whole point of a blitz. You're sending more than the guys can account for. All right. Jake Matthews, because of the blitzing, safety has to kick out to push him out, and that leaves the outside linebacker to deal with whatever bum we had at left guard. It might have been Matt Gano. I use the word, I use bum too harshly there. But anyway, he's left to deal with the left guard, and he just is able to go through it. Basically, it's easy enough. Why is my thing not playing here? Hold on. Here we go. We're going to play this game. Boom. All right, so watch it now. Here goes the blitz. He kicks into the inside, and now you have Jake Matthews dealing with the safety, the guard having to deal with the outside linebacker, and it's just too much for the guard. Absolutely too much there. All right. The safety, blitz, guard, 77, that's Carpenter. That's why. Yeah. That was the first year we had Carpenter. He was not playing good for us. But that brings into focus what I think DMPs can be here, or what I hope DMPs is here for the Atlanta Falcons. I hope that he brings that aggressive style, that he brings that, blitzing from all different angles. If there's one thing that I thought that our previous coaching staff sometimes lacked aggression, like we got better under Ulbrich, and I'm really curious to see how Ulbrich looks up in, I think he went to the Jets to be their DC, because he's probably the only coach that I was hoping to retain in some capacity, maybe even let be the DC here. But nonetheless, you brought in Dean Pease, and you also, by virtue, brought in Dean Pease' son. I can see maybe after a year or so, Pease retire and his boy take over. That's how those things happen from time to time. But I'm cautiously optimistic about Dean Pease. He runs a lot of the same type system that we ran, so I'm hoping there's not much of a transition, right? We ran a lot of cover 3 under Dan Quinn, shifted a little bit more to single high safety under Ulbrich. So we'll be interested to see how they transition to more of a cover 2 that I thought we were going to be running under Morris. But in my research, I come across a Reddit article that broke it down real well, and I'm going to read you this last summarization because this guy did a real good job. He said, to summarize the defense, Dean Pease is going to attack. He'll play a base 2-high 4-2-5 defense. A lot of quarters, a lot of cover 2, with some cover 3 as a changeup. He's going to bring pressure from all over. He needs safeties that can cover receivers, and a star nickel/Sam player that can be a badass. He'll scheme pressure. He just needs players that are versatile and smart enough to execute the blitzes and stunts. I think we have smart enough linebackers, right? Michael Walker, Foye Luakon, Deion Jones. The safeties, I think, is going to be the big issue. I think it's going to require us to upgrade safeties. And I'm really interested to see who they use as a nickel player. Do they bring back DeQuez Denard and let him, take that nickel spot? Because I think they're watching the way Logan Ryan plays with the Tennessee Titans the few years he was there. That's the kind of player that we're going to need. And I wonder if we can, turn somebody like an Isaiah Oliver into that kind of player. or have a Duquesne Denard be that kind of player for us. But we're definitely going to be in need of a star nickel player because of how much nickel Dean Pease likes to run. It'll be really interesting to see if they bring back somebody like a Keanu O'Neal, because I think he could be that versatile player. So this offseason is going to continue to be super interesting. But that's all I got for y'all. As always, y'all can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Grimm1128, GRIMM1128. You can come back here most Thursdays where I'm going to have a Falcon Eye View, taking a deeper look at some of the things. Check out the shows on Monday with Toby from time to time with the Think Tank. Glad to have him back. And, of course, you got the guys right now, Jimmy and Mike, doing Draft House on Saturday. So we're coming at you live every Wednesday at 7:30. So we're trying to cover y'all as much as we can, get out the content that y'all want. So, as always, drop comments down below. See what you want me to take a look at next, whether it's scheme, whether it's a player, whatever. Just drop it down below. That's the point of this segment. But as always, Falcons fans, rise up.